Hello, my name's Alan Newberry, and today we are going to heat treat this knife made of 5160 that we forged and ground in two previous videos using a propane forge, canola oil, and my home kitchen oven. Let's go take a look. Because I'm using canola oil, I'm going to need to preheat the oil so that it is at the right temperature. What I'm shooting for here is about 120, 130 degrees. I've got a thermometer clipped there to the side to help me see when I've reached that temperature. I also kind of know what 120 degrees feels like with my finger. It's not boiling hot, but it's hot. So I can just kind of feel it with my finger, and a thermometer helps to make sure I'm getting that right. If you're using a commercial quenchant, you may not need to actually preheat the oil, and I do recommend using a commercial quenchant because they're not going to degrade over time like this canola oil may. You know, once the oil's been burned a little bit, it might cool a little bit differently, or it may go rancid over time. So here I am heating up the blade. I always like to start with the Tang end first. I'm using a magnet just to kind of figure out where the heat is and figure out when it's gotten to the temperature I'm going for. With 5160, you're going to want it to get a little bit past non-magnetic, so when the magnet stops sticking to it, it's going to need to be still just, I don't know, 125, 150 degrees hotter than that. So you're looking at 1525 is a good temperature, and it can be a little hotter than that as well. And a couple of safety tips. My container there is a little bit too full. It would be very easy for that to spill over and make a lot of fire. I'm also doing this outside, not inside my garage, where it could cause a house fire. Always have fire extinguishers close by, and I have the lid there, so if the oil catches on fire, I can put the lid on and the fire will go out, at least the stuff that's inside the pot. Now if it spills out everywhere, then that's going to burn. And you'll notice while I am heating up the blade that I'm kind of moving it around, and it'll have kind of some hot spots and some cold spots. So sometimes pulling it out and letting the edge kind of cool off a bit, it will help it to reach the temperature closer to that where your spine's at, where it's a little bit thicker. So you just kind of have to maybe pull it in, pull it out, put it in a different spot of the forge to try to get everything even. And so what I'm looking for is to have the color that I'm used to seeing for that temperature, knowing that it's all above non-magnetic, and then put it right in there. Some people like to put the Tang in, some people don't. It can work both ways. Right now, in this particular case, I'm just going to harden the whole thing. You'll notice that I'm doing kind of a slicing motion. You can do that, or an up and down type motion, but you cannot do side to side or stirring type motions because that will cool off one side quicker than the other and may cause warping. So at this point I'm checking for straightness. In this case it turned out pretty straight. If it hadn't, I would maybe try to do a little hand straightening with welding gloves on. Otherwise, I just go ahead and cool it off the rest of the way. After that, I check for hardness with a file. A round file, like a chainsaw file, will work pretty well for this, and you're just listening to hear that kind of glass sound and have it not bite into the metal. Then I will put the knife into a preheated oven. In this case, I'm using my kitchen oven, and it's heated to 350 degrees. I have an oven thermometer in there to make sure that the temperature on my oven is matching up with the temperature on there to make sure I'm not overheating the knife. And I do 2 cycles at 350 degrees. And here you see the knife now that it has been hardened and tempered. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe because we're going to continue to follow the creation of this knife right here. And if you have any other questions, please put them down in the comments section below.